Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ordinary here, bringing you the 12th and final episode as the GM of Team Japan. And last episode we did the Year 3 off-season, we did pre-season as well. We didn't have that good of a record. And then I put it to you guys in the comments, what should I do with these lines? We got a few good players. I mean, what do we do though? Do we want Reinhardt second line just to get the time? Do we want Callahan on the third line even though he's 87? Like, not sure what to do. I did just upload it today. Today is the last day of NHL 14. 15 comes out at midnight, so got to wrap up all these series right now. So, what I'm thinking about doing is going like this. Sniper, two-way forward playmaker, that's fine. Going like this. And leaving Callahan. I can't leave him. Doesn't make any sense. We're going to go like, I can't have three playmakers down there. I don't want to have Boucher on the third line. Ugh. We're going to leave Callahan down there right now. Just for now. My fucking controller just died, so I need to put something in. Where's my play in charge? 1 sec, boys. Alright, sorry about that. So, I think we're going to keep Callahan down there on the third line. Just because he is a grinder. I mean, if one of these guys in the top 6 isn't producing, we swap him out. But start off in the third. As far as defense go, I mean, it's got to be this. And, shit, I should have checked our goalie. I'll go back in there. In goal, we have T. McCollum, and Jake Allen is actually going to be our starter, so make sure we have him up there. 85 overall goalie. It's the best we've had. Our team is looking as strong as it's ever been, but that doesn't say much because we have been pretty shit since we started. So, without further ado, I mean, let's get a couple of months simulated here. I'm just going to do the old cutaway and then come back if anything is exciting. Oops, so it looks like the very first day of simulation we got the scout assignment here, so what do we need? We just took 2 forwards by accident when I meant to take a defenseman, so let's scout a D, see if there's any good ones. Doesn't look like it. Oh, the US is stocking a bunch of defensemen. Sure, why not? Alright, back to the sim. Alright, guys. So, pausing it right here. We're 10 games in. We've got a pretty average record. We were just 5-1-2 before these 2 games here. But 5-3-2, so that puts us at 12 points in 10 games, which is pretty average. That should put us right in the bubble there. Let's see. 12 points. Yeah, we're in the playoffs right now. And if we keep that kind of record up, we will make the playoffs. But I just wanted to kind of take a look before anything got too far underway, see what everything's looking like. Vancouver is winning the league. The East doesn't look very strong at all. We'd be right up there if we were over in the East. Looks like Patty Kane leading the team in assists. Chris Stowe leading the league in goals. Not the league, sorry, the team. Let's take a look at points for our guys. After the first handful of games, make sure our top 6 is fine and that Callahan doesn't have to be moved up. Okay, so Patty Kane, 11 points in 10 games, perfect. Kuznetsov, 7 and 10. Dalpy, ooh, so where's Bourneval? Only 5 points. Yikes. Maybe he's a two-way forward. We don't want him but he's our best centerman. I mean, doesn't make sense not to do that. Where's Callahan's got even 6 points. Ooh. So if Bourneval doesn't step up, we might drop him to third line. I mean, don't really want to, but might have to happen. And then how's our goalies doing? 229 goals against average is okay. McCollum is getting lit. Absolutely lit. Save percentage. Ooh, Jesus, McCollum, step it up. Or you're the next one to go. So let's continue to sim. Except for, I'm not going to cut this one out. I'm going to talk over it. Kind of want to talk about NHL 15. I mean, it does come out tomorrow. If you guys watch NHL YouTube stuff, which you are obviously if you're watching this, that means you probably have a good idea of what's going on with the game lately and what people are saying, and kind of how EA's dropped the ball with a couple of losses with the new game. A lot of people were expecting the world because NHL 14 was the only 2014 sports game to not come out on next gen, so that means NBA, Madden, FIFA, all those games did port over to next gen last year, and NHL was the only game left behind. So people were kind of expecting the team at EA to use those 2 years, I guess, other than the 1 year, to make a game that really kicked ass. And with the early access that's been out the last week, and all the demo play and everything, people have kind of been a little disappointed in the features in the game. I haven't heard much trash talk or negative thoughts towards the actual gameplay, like when you're in a game shooting and scoring and passing and stuff. People seem to be happy with that. But what people aren't so happy with is the lack of different modes in the game, and the ones that did stay have been really stripped down. It's kind of shitty for me because the two biggest things for me are obviously GM mode and jersey designs. So you can't even do jersey designs in NHL 15, unfortunately. I might load NHL 14 up and do some jersey designs in there, but there's no point in buying NHL 15 for last gen, for me personally, just for jersey designs, because they've never updated the creation zone, right? So I could put in my NHL 07 I have on the shelf right now and do the same jersey designs as I can do in this game. So that kind of sucks that they took that out. I don't really understand why, but they did. So there's no jersey designs, there's no create a team, which is another thing that really sucks, because one of the things I really wanted to do with NHL 15 was make a team and use that team in a GM mode, and do a fantasy draft with it. I thought that'd be kind of cool to kind of pretend it was an expansion team, and then you can choose through players and have a good time that way. And not going to be able to do that for two reasons. One reason is because you can't create a team, and the second reason is there is no fantasy draft in NHL 15 on next gen. So I know a couple videos ago I was talking about what you guys wanted me to do for my next GM mode, and I put the idea out that I would draft 3 different teams, fantasy draft style, and let you guys pick one. That was one of my ideas that I had. Obviously, not going to be doing that anymore. Not an option. So fantasy draft is not an option. And the other thing with GM mode that they really butchered is the draft. So I don't know, you guys have probably heard this, but you cannot draft in GM mode anymore. Apparently they're going to be patching it in October, but that still leaves 2 months with the game before you can even really do a good GM mode. So there's no drafting at the end. There is what's called pinning prospects, so like your favorites. I'm not sure if the auto draft kind of looks at your favorites and then looks at the board. If that's the case, then it's not too big of a deal. So if I can pin, my top 5 choices, and it'll pick my number 1 choice if he's still there, and if it's not, it picks my number 2 choice. But if it just ignores the entire pinned board and just goes off their own rankings, then that's kind of really shitty. And lastly, in GM mode, there's 2 more things. You can't slow sim a game, so playoff hockey, we're not going to be able to do the go in, sim a minute at a time, first period, second period, third period kind of thing. It's just going to be boom, 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 game at a time, which that's the least of my worries. I mean, it's kind of shitty, but it allows us to get more videos done, I guess. But the last thing, and it's kind of important, is the lack of a minor league team. So you can't control the AHL team. You can't see in the left bumper in the top left of the screen. You go from Japan to Portland to Japan, and you can edit the lines if you want. You can play a game as the AHL team, but not in NHL 15. The only thing you can do with the AHL team is send players down. You can't edit the lines. So if you have a player that you want to get better, but he's not technically good enough to be playing top 6 time in the AHL, in NHL 14, what you can do is you can go down there and move him up yourself, and he'll be playing first line, even though there's 2 centermen that are better than him or whatever. But in NHL 15, if you send him down, the AI takes care of it, and he'll be playing third line rather than the first line that you want him to be playing, which that kind of really sucks for prospect progression. I'm not too sure how that's going to play out. To be honest, the AHL is something that I kind of forget about sometimes, and unless I have a couple of really big-name prospects, I don't really remember to go down there and make sure they're getting the proper ice time. But it's something I should be doing, and now it's not even an option. So that kind of blows. And the last thing I want to talk about GM mode is kind of the pros, I guess. I have been watching some other gameplay, and it seems like the prospect progression, that's a fucking tongue twister, the prospect progression is actually pretty decent in the new game. I'm excited about that. You're not going to get the 15 players that never progress, you know the players I'm talking about. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but they never get better. Bo Horvat, that's one. He never gets good in any of the G modes I've ever played. I think he's got to like maybe an 82 top. Once in a blue moon, you'll see him get really good. I'm sure one of you have seen him just jump, but most of the time these players never get good. And then there's the ones that always get good. Jonathan Drouin, he's one of them. Who's the guy that plays with him? Nikita? No, fuck. I bet you if I go to leading goal scorers right now, I'll see what his name is. But it's slipping me right now. Come on. What's his name? Fuck me. You guys know the player I'm talking about from Tampa that fucking lights the lamp every GM mode you've ever played. Kucherov, that's his name. He always does well. And so in the new GM mode, that won't be the case every time. Dauphin, he's another one that always does well this year. So I'm excited to see them take that and kind of smooth it over. And the progression is a lot more linear. It's not like jump up 1, jump up 1, jump up 1, jump up 13. You know what I mean? In this game, you can see that quite a bit. Is like, oh, I'll take a chance on signing this 26-year-old who's going to have one more jump this offseason because he might jump up 6 fucking points. That's from what I've seen, that's not as much of a thing in the new game. So that's cool. The simulation is apparently quite a bit faster, so that will help us get videos done as well as the menus look a lot nicer, which isn't too big of a deal to anybody, but it's always nice to see a little bit of a graphic update. So we're into the All-Star game here. Looks like Patty Kane managed to make first-line All-Stars for us. No one in the second, no one in the third, no one in the fourth. Defenseman, no. Gardner made it, so we got Gardner. And what about Allen? Yeah, Allen. So we got 3 All-Stars. I think that's the most we've ever had here in Japan. Flying them to the mainland to partake in the All-Star game. We are 26-12-8, so that puts us at 46 games in. Let's take a look at the stats. So at the All-Star break, we are 3rd in the division, fighting for 2nd, kind of fighting for 1st, but we're quite a ways off of 1st, and we're quite a ways off of 4th too, so we are sitting in a pretty comfy playoff position right now, which is nice. It wouldn't be a bad thing to wrap up the Japan GM mode with a trip to the playoffs for once. We'd be winning the Central Division, so it looks like we do have the strongest division here in the Pacific. Over there in the Atlantic, looks like Detroit has finally showed up as a team in the East. Every other team not doing so well, but Detroit is actually leading the league, so good for them. Where's the leaders here? All right, so in goal, looks like Markstrom is the best with Jimmy Howard in second, Cam Ward in third. Jake Allen is sixth in save percentage and fifth in goals against average, so we've got a pretty good goalie there in Allen. Pretty happy with that. Wins, he has the second most because McCollum can't stop a fucking beach ball, apparently. Points, Claude Giroux leading the league. Oh, Ribeiro. That's funny. Ribeiro's second in the league in points. That's surprising. Look at Kucherov. I told you if we went to the leaders, we'd see him. So there he is in seventh. We don't have anyone on the leaders, which is okay. For assists, we are eighth in the league. It doesn't show us, but we are there. And we're not too far away from eighth in the league for goals either. So we have a couple of good players. Christo, Patty Kane. Let's get up to the trade deadline here. Don't think we need to make too many moves, but obviously we're going to look at the stats, see if we can't make a big play here. Maybe trade away some prospects for a playoff run because this is going to be our last season. And what are we, 3 years in? Or this is year 4 start, right? So yeah, there's got to be some all-stars that are getting a little bit older, and therefore the trade value is going down. But they've still got the high overalls and the good categories to put up points, so we can look at trading away some prospects, pick up those players, and hopefully win the cup. I mean, you don't really see a team go from missing the playoffs 3 years in a row to winning the cup, but when the team's willing to trade away all their prospects, anything can happen, right? So I'm confident with keeping Jake Allen in net, Patty Kane obviously on the first line, but there's probably some other players we can dump. Do we need a goalie? No, we need defenseman. 6 weeks, sort here. We already know that there's some good ones in the States. Is there any? There we go. And hopefully the scouting is not so shit in 15. Once we get back to simming here, I'm going to talk some more just about the future of my channel, I guess, and what I'm going to be putting out. I don't really want to be putting out a full GM mode like this until they do fix the scouting. I'm going to do a quick test before I record anything to see if the pinning is actually a valid method of drafting. But if it's not, I'd rather do... I'm going to have to do a lot of hut this year because they've basically turned the game into hut focused, which is understandable. I mean, it's not my favorite game mode, but I like it a lot more than some of the other ones. Be a Pro is kind of fucked, which I'm okay with. I didn't really like it. I'm okay with hut though, and we'll be playing a lot of hut on my channel now. I know most of you guys are here for GM mode, but that's just the way she goes. With GM mode though, I'm obviously not going to just dump it. What I'm thinking about doing is doing a Vancouver one to start, and just talking about the Canucks more than playing GM mode. We'll do trades to make the team better and everything, and but that's the team that I know the most about. So I feel like that will be the most fun to hear me talk about, especially when there's not going to be much going on in terms of actual gameplay. I'm going to be playing some actual games in there rather than the full 82 game sim that I'm used to doing, just because I don't want to get too many seasons in without the proper mechanics, drafting and all that shit. And hopefully they patch in some sort of minor league affiliate too, but no, don't have my fingers crossed for that. So let's take a look at stats. Actually, first, we're going to take a look at our lines so we know where everyone is. Christo, Borneval, Kane, Kuznetsov, Dalpe, Boucher. Reinhardt's got a little bit of a jump. Hagelin, Reinhardt, Callahan, Saad, Tyrell, Bennett. On defense, it's Gardner Bloom, Postma Orlov, and Martin Klitzum. And then in net, obviously, it's Allen. So what we're going to do is now we're going to go to stats. Make sure that those lines reflect the points that people are getting. If not, those players can be traded. And we can pull in some big name guys to hopefully hoist a cup here. So points, Patty Kane, point per game. Reinhardt, third line center. Actually, it's the second most points on our team. So, you know, that means for Bourneval and Dalby. I mean, someone needs to step it up. Good for him, though. Boucher, second line sniper. He's got the third most points. Most goals, too. I think now he passed Christo. Yeah. Kuznetsov, he's doing right what I want him to be doing. 43 and 63 is more than enough. Bourneval, 42 and 63 for a first line center is kind of shitty. It's not the worst in the world, but it's not the best. Christo, he scores a lot, but he does not get any assists, so his points are lower than I would like to see. Bloom and Gardner, yeah, that's good. Callahan is ahead of Dalby. They both have 27 points, but Dalby is getting second line time, so maybe he can go. Hagelin, he's third line right now, 17 points. And then we're down into the fourth line and the bottom D pairing. Goalies. Looks like McCollum has brought his stats down to something a lot less shitty, but not the best. And Allen is still crushing it, so good for him. Happy with everyone except for maybe our two centermen and Christo. I might want to move down. Right now, if I'm looking at the lines, I'm thinking it should be like this, and it should be like this. That's what I'm thinking. We're going to leave it like this for now. I'm going to go into the trading block. And see what we can see with some older... Why can't I... Oh, there we go. Some older players that aren't going to have that good a trade value. Oh, I shouldn't have done this because now it's going to... Yeah, I'm not going to find anyone because it's got the fucking stars. I haven't heard of the trade block in the new game. Hopefully it's not so shit. Trade block in this game is not good. It could be much, much better. Alright, so we want them to be able to... You know what? I'm just going to put overall on because I don't have the patience to do all the categories. So we're not going to trade for anyone unless they're an 86 or higher. That's just how it's going to be. There's only a handful of them. Looks like the Sedins are two of them. One of them's gone. Joe Thornton, Gabrick. Why is the trade value so ridiculous? Go to 30. Yeah, Daniel Sedin's the cheapest, and he's only an 86. What are they at for points this year, these guys? Only 48 points. Like, he's not doing much better than some of the other guys I got. Sort by overall. Let's see. Zetterberg takes a big dip. What's he? He's a playmaker, though, and so is Patty Kane, so we don't need two of those in the first line. Although he does have 65 points in 62 games, which is quite good. Hossa, I think he's a sniper, isn't he? Two-way forward. Huh. 37 points, not doing well at all. Henrik, 42 points, same as Daniel, basically. Marlowe, he's a sniper, left wing. 45 points in 63 games. That's someone I would not mind picking up. Doesn't have that high of trade value. Ryan Callahan has a lot of trade value, and we're not even using him. He's being wasted on that third line, so he's someone we can really dump to pick up someone we're actually going to play with. So that's what we got for forwards. I'm really liking Marlowe there. Oh, look at me not have my fucking phone on silent. My bad, boys. Defense. What do we got for defense here? For Callahan, we could flip Callahan and get someone like Girardi, it says, which is a big upgrade on what we got. So I'm happy doing that. I don't think we'll be able to pull Keith with Callahan, but we might be able to put Callahan and someone and get Keith, which wouldn't be the worst. Callahan and the defenseman that is being replaced. That might go through to get Keith. What's he at for points? I should have checked. 34 points in 63 games as a defenseman is quite good. Cronwall is very undervalued. He's already got 39 points in 62 games. I'd almost prefer to go for him. He's just so much easier to get. So I'm liking Cronwall a lot, and I'm also liking Marlowe. So I think we might want to pick up these two guys. And let's just check goalies for this for the hell of it. We could get someone like Ryan Miller, but I mean I'm happy with Jake Allen right now. Yeah, I'm happy with Allen. He's doing well. So let's take a look at Marlowe. Just want to make sure he's the best bet. Hossa, Marlowe. Yeah, Marlowe's so cheap right now. Dirt cheap. And he's a sniper, which we need on that first line. So what do they want from us? Christo, he was our first line sniper. He's 86, so it's not like it's much of an upgrade from Marlowe. They want to get rid of him, which is great. That's one of the best things I've seen in a long time. It makes me happy. 45 points, so he's not doing too well, but who knows how San Jose is doing. Obviously not so well if they want to trade Marlowe away. Christo does only have 39 points. He's putting up the goals, but he's not really getting the assists. I want to go to forwards here, just real quick. They don't want Korostelev for some reason. They want Gergensons, which we spent quite a lot to get him, but he can go in. That's okay. I'm okay with trading Gergensons away. And then it's not going to take much to finish off this trade. Anyone else they want? How about a defenseman? Do you guys want any defenseman? Not really. They can have DeHaan, although I don't think they actually want him. No, they can't. It's going to. It's not. It's players. It's not salary. Okay. All skaters. We're keeping all these guys. Korostelev, I'm going to use in the trade to get. Ooh, I won't have to get Cronwall. So I can trade. I'm okay with trading like Habby Boolin, the right winger. Put him in. That'll definitely go through when we pull back somebody. Skater's given away. Maybe they have someone else that's decent. Oh, they want to give Jumbo Joe away too. Shit. It's almost worth it to pull both of these guys and make a cup run. Although his potential's so low, he's going to drop. Nah, we're not going to take Joe Thornton. Brent Burns, though. What is he, 84 overall? Make a good third liner. I want to get rid of him. We'll try this. If it doesn't go through, that's okay. It does go through. Very happy with that. Now we're going to go over to Detroit. Looks like they're not wanting to give away Cronwall, which is okay. He's actually their highest valued player. So you guys can have Callahan because we got Burns to replace him. Boom, boom. That'll go through just like that, I believe. Right? Let's see. Yep. Roster moves. Let's just do best rosters for now. Back to the trading block. Let's see what our team looks like right now. I might want to pull one more defenseman using some of our prospects. I'm happy with that first line right now. Happy with the second line right now. Although, Kuznetsov has been pushed down, unfortunately, which he doesn't deserve to be pushed down because he's been absolutely killing it. I might want to grab a second line center Or a first line. Yeah, I'm gonna grab a first line center. Move Borneval down. Reinhardt's been killing it on the third line, and then either Tyrell or Dalby has to go. Christo over Boucher. I'm not sure what to do here. I'll probably keep Christo with Reinhardt because Reinhardt's feeding him. And Burns, yeah, Burns stays on the third line, so that's fine. Yeah, so defense, wouldn't mind pulling one more 85 or above, and a first line center. And we have the assets to make this go through. We have a draft pick too. We're putting all our eggs in one basket this year, trying to make a good run for it. So hopefully all this trading works out for me. GM options. Trading block. Alright, 30 to 50-year-old centerman. So this is where Jumbo Joe could have come in handy, but doesn't really have the potential anymore. What are we looking at here? Henrik Sedin's the cheapest. Do we necessarily want to go cheap, or do we want to go someone who's going to win for us? I'm going to take this 30 and put it a little bit lower. Zetterberg. Oh, we're on. There we go. We'll go down centers. All right. As soon as I see a big dip, it's Henrik Sedin every time, guys. Is it a sign? 2 playmakers and a sniper on that first line. That's not a bad idea. Although the 42 points and the -10 is really staring at me right now. And then we're looking at like Kyle Turris, who's got 45 points in 62 games with a +12. He's also a playmaker. Who's he playing with, though? I mean, that's what really matters, right? They got the same trade value, really. He's listed as a second-line center, while Sedin's listed as a first-line center. I'd rather pull someone like up here, but the trade value is just too much to make it happen. Henrik Sedin. 42 points. He can't be playing with anyone good. I'm going to take a look. Oh, they want to give him... Yeah, they want to give him away. We have to make this trade. Obviously, he's got shitty teammates with him. And he's got to be second-line center, right? Because Tavares has to be that first-line center, so... No wonder he's not doing as well. That's okay. Yeah, I'm happy with this now. Korostelev, he can go in. That could just be a 1-for-1 trade right there. Probably will go through. We're going to do it. Boom. Okay. Roster moves. I know. I'm not dumb. This is the Ghost Pitch roster. Now we have a centerman to dump. And we're going to pull back a defenseman with it. And we've been doing this for about 35 minutes now, so as soon as I do this, I'm going to cut my capture, probably upload that as a video on its own, and then you can expect to see the next one of these like an hour after that one gets uploaded. So I am crushing through these before I go down to the game store and pick up Destiny, which is another thing I'm going to talk about as soon as we get the simulation back going, which is going to be next video. But overall, let's see. Cronwall, we've already got. Any of these guys? Seidenberg gets it. Ooh, but we're jumping straight down to 86, which is basically what we're at right now. I'd rather pull someone a little bit better. Duncan Keith. Someone like Vlasic or Roback is actually decent. Spurgeon. One of these 87s. How about Johnson? We don't need a defensive D-man. We need a two-way D-man. There's one. Roback, but I hate his hair. This is a problem with the last video, too. Two-way D, Victor Hedman, 88 overall. 28. Oh, only 28 points on the year? Brutal. Some of these guys have way more. 36 for Seabrook. Cronwell's got 34. And we already have him. 34. Keith's got 34 as well. Seabrook, why is he listed as defensive? He should be two-way. That's what I want. I want to pull a two-way. Hamhuis, two-way. 22 points only, though. Spurgeon, offensive D, 27 points. You can't sort by player roles, can you? Not roles, but like top two. I mean, player types. No. We're not gonna be able to pull one of these guys that's that high. Yeah, our best bet is going with one of these 87 overalls. That is a two-way defenseman like Hamhuis. I like pulling Hamhuis because Vancouver has a really good team right now, and if we can make their team worse, that's going to improve our chances of beating them in the playoffs. But I want to see if any of these guys are wanting to be given away by their teams before I do any of it. So I want to check out Girardi, Myers, and Roback, mostly. No. Girardi, Myers, and Roback. Girardi, they want to keep him. Myers, they want to keep him. So I'm thinking we just stick with good old Dan Hamhuis here. What do we have to trade? Any prospect that's not on the team right now. So Fleury, one of our centermen. That's not Bourneval, and that's not Reinhardt. So Dalby. And then anybody that has trade value. And draft picks we can trade as well. Not just matching block, I want all skaters. Okay, so keep all these guys. Harrington can go. And our first. Will that net us Hamhuis? No. So we need to either offer a little bit more or pull someone a little bit less valuable. We can also trade away one of the defensemen that's on our top six right now because it will no longer be able to be Cronwall and Hamhuis, Gardner, Bloom, Postma, Orlov, and then we can ditch Martin and Delorier. So Delorier can go in as well. See if that goes through. It does. And it's looking like we got a real good chance at a cup here, boys. Best roster. Edit lines. Boom. We want it like that. Because Netsov's been doing really well. We need him to play make. So it's either Boucher, who has 45 points, 22 and 23, or Christo, who has 39 points, 21 and 18. I think the stats speak for themselves. We'll go like this. Everything else is looking really good. Our teams never look better. Defense. Where the fuck is what's his dick? Dan Hamhuis. Salary. We got to swap. What? It says we have 7.5 available and his salary is 5.5, so that doesn't make sense. But if we just swap him with one of our lesser known players, it should work fine. Boom, perfect. I'm going to have to best lines again, unfortunately. That means going like this. Should this be like this? I think it should. It's Boucher, left wing, yeah. Okay, looking good. Cronwall, Ham, Hughes, Gardner, Bloom, Orlov, Postma. Like, that's fucking so good. I'm happy with this. Power play, obviously good. In net, we should have Jake Allen backstopping us, and this video is coming to an end. So thanks for watching this one, guys. If you're going to be around your computer in about an hour, make sure you're looking for this next one. It's going to be that finale. I thought I could wrap it all up in one video, but apparently not. So we still got one more to go, and then this series is going to be coming to a close for good. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you right quick.